Hello, folks. My name is Tim Black. Welcome to the Tim Black Show. I got a special guest, and this, folks, is really important because this person is amazing, and they're running for office in Ohio's 11th district. Folks, S&T. Hey, Senator Nina Turner, S&T. How you doing?
Black, I'm fine. How are you?
I'm doing fine. You know, I try to cut down the intros because we family. Everyone knows you, Nina, and everyone loves you, and we're so excited. We're so pumped up. How's the campaign going?
Well, thank you, first of all, and all of your viewers and listeners. Sometimes people just listening and not necessarily watching, but I just want to thank the family for tuning in and for uplifting me and supporting you, because supporting you is supporting a progressive movement, a progressive voice, somebody that tells it like it is, as my grandmother used to say on occasion, like it is. And we're doing well. The movement itself has been so supportive of this campaign. All of the work that I've been doing in the vineyard, I like to say, has really shown itself in the support for this campaign. I mean, Black, we have raised money from every single state in this country, including the District of Columbia, every zip code of the 11th congressional district. I have amassed, or earned is a better word, endorsements from labor unions that lean more conservative, all the way to the labor unions that are all the way on the progressive end of the spectrum. And that is the same for the elected types and the activist types as well. It shows very clearly that I am truly a coalition builder, but more importantly, people have recognized the work that I have been doing, marrying the deeds with the words.
The D's with the words. Folks, go to NinaTurner.com. Let's support Nina Turner. Let's phone bank. Let's text bank. Let's get involved. If you can give your time, or if you got a few dollars, let's just go ahead and dig in, because folks are saying that Nina may be a little bit too progressive, but I don't think that's a possibility considering where we are, Nina. What's been the reaction to people on the ground? What are they saying to you?
It's been amazing. And, it's funny because I had an opportunity to interview earlier today on a local station, and that exactly what you just said. The question was, what do you say to people who say you're a little too progressive, a little too left? And I said, well, let me count, how do I love thee? Let me count the ways, is it too left or too progressive to care that everybody in this country has universal health care and they don't have to contemplate whether or not they go to the doctor or not because they can't afford it? Is it too left or too progressive to call out the pharmaceutical industry for the massive amounts of wealth that they're making at other people's expense, including up to people dying because they don't have access to the medication? Is it too progressive or too left to believe that we need to cancel student debt in the United States of America, which has a class and a caste component, meaning that Black women hold the largest amount of student debt in the United States of America? And you talk about a racial justice issue, an economic justice issue. You can have that all in one fell swoop if the president of the United States of America would just cancel student debt, which he does have the authority to do. Is it too progressive or too left to care about the environment, to make sure that we take care of Mother Earth, that we try our best, both as a nation and as a world, to reverse the damage that human beings and all of our arrogance has done to this earth so that we can live a good life right in this moment in future generations? Let me shout out Sunrise Movement while I'm on that one, Black. So no, the answer is, if you lost your health care, no, I'm not too progressive. If you need paid family medical leave, Sister Turner is not too progressive. If you depend on clean water, clean air, clean food, and want somebody that's going to go to that Congress to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help me God, then no, I'm not too progressive.
Absolutely. That is so so well said. That's a great response, and you're a pro at this. No, because it's like they make it sound like you're Oprah Winfrey. You know how she used to give out cars. You get a car, and you get a car. You talk about healthcare.
Yes.
You're talking about people having a place to live. People not worrying about their student debt and being able to pursue their dreams and not be buried under mountains. Just starting their lives, and they're buried. My son, it really slowed his roll with his education, just all that debt. And I know you're aware of what's going on with that. And I think it's a no-brainer.
Is it too left to want people to live a good life? And their policies, policies that go along with that. To me, poverty is a policy decision. And so that has been done deliberately to create a class of people who are among the ultra, ultra, ultra wealthy. See, I got to keep putting some ultras on that thing because this is real. That's the kind of the gulf between the poor, the working poor and the middle class and people who are the most wealthy in this country by monetary standards. There are three men, white men, who control more wealth than 160 million people combined. And trust, if they were black, I would say black. If they were a woman, I would say a woman. But three white men control more wealth than 160 million people in this country combined. There is something unseemly about that. Is that too far left to call that out? I was reading a book that was written by the Patriotic Millionaires. Yes, you heard me right. Go visit them. There are a bunch of millionaires in this country who say tax us because things are crazy and we want to stand on the right side of the ledger. But they had this really important graphic, Black, that showed a picture of Jeff Bezos, and it had a continuum. And it basically was, as it read, you are, whoever you are closer to the people who are in poverty, even if you are solidly middle class, than you are to Jeff Bezos. So let's get an understanding about whose team you are really on right now. You're closer to not having anything than you are to Jeff Bezos. And the point there is that the majority of us should be unified in doing something about predatory capitalism and the plague, the scourge it is on the United States of America for all people. And then if we start to break it down by caste, we know that African Americans suffer disproportionately to our percentage in the United States, to our numbers in the United States of America. Yes. Indigenous people, Hispanic folks, we can start naming groups here. But we got to get an understanding about where we stand in the United States of America and what it is going to take to change it. Because what I am talking about was done systemically on purpose, and that means we can undo it systemically.
That's right. We got the power to undo it.
Yeah,
That's
we
right.
do.
That's right. I was looking at some of your endorsements, and the audience for us, my audience in particular, is very excited, but it seems like others are excited. What are some of the new endorsements you had? I saw one that was just knocked me out.
Yeah, well, Congresswoman Katie Porter, hello, somebody on that. And that is just one example of the type of coalition builder I am. Yes, I am very progressive or leftist, hellraiser, humanitarian, pick your title. Just know that I'm working for justice. But to have Congresswoman Katie Porter, who was the co-chair for Senator Warren's presidential campaign, you got yours truly, who's a co-chair for Senator Bernie Sanders' campaign, us coming together in this way. Just think about all the wonderful, great things that we are going to be able to do. Again, coalition building. I have moderate, support moderate Democrats support me, or more institutional Democrats support me, all the way to people who are, progressive. But that's the kind of person I am, both on the local level and also on the national level. Like, I got the Machinists Union endorsement, the fighting machinists too this week. I mean, oh my God. So again, from people who are more conservative in the House of Labor, all the way to progressive folks like SEIU. Those are the types of people who are uniting in and around this campaign. I've earned the endorsement of every single senator in the Cuyahoga County delegation that represents part of the district, because the district is Greater Cleveland, which is Cuyahoga County, and also Greater Akron, which is Summit County. And I have a number of endorsements from Summit County too. Councilman Williams, who was the number one vote getter when he was serving in the council, to Judge Moore, who's now retired, to Councilwoman Tara Mosley Samples. I mean, you name it, the list is going to a whole host of faith-based community in the Akron and Summit County area. So I'm bringing the family together. Some people a little country, some people a little rock and roll, some people a little R&B, some people a little gospel, some blues, some spiritual. But baby, or rap. I'm bringing them together. Mm-hmm. That's what a sister's doing.
That's right. Absolutely. It's amazing. I'm so excited about what you got going on and what that's going to mean for folks. And in light of what's been happening with the George Floyd Policing Act, Justice and Policing Act, how you feel about that? There's been some conversation that they may have to remove the qualified immunity reform piece. What are your thoughts on that?
I don't think they don't do that. I know that there's a portion who believes we should get what we can get, but we've been doing that for a very long time. Let's just go big and go bold, especially since the Democrats control all the levers of power. They control both houses of the Congress, being the Senate and the House of Representatives, and they control the presidency. And I know the filibuster in the Senate is a thing. I got that. But before we even get to dealing with the filibuster, let's deal with some of them buster senators that we have who are standing in the way of progress, who are Democrats. We understand the Republicans. We got that memo. But how are we going to deal with Democrats who are standing in the way of progress, especially on the legal justice front, to undo the scourge of brutality at the hands of people who have the state power in policing? We got to do something about that. So no, we should have qualified immunity. And you know what? I had a chance to listen to the Floyd family. I was on Roland Martin's show, and I got a chance to listen to what the Floyd family had to say, and also, Brother Ben Crump. And, they're saying, look, if you're going to give us something of substance, then you can take a little more time. But don't come rolling up in here with no foolishness and do it quick. I'd rather you take a longer time to give something of substance. And the George Floyd Policing Act is just the beginning of what needs to happen to reform a legal system that is working the way it was designed to work. And the sooner we recognize that, the better off we will be in trying to right some wrongs and make some crooked paths straight. And one more thing, I am concerned not just about brutality in policing. I want to reform the entire legal system from the streets all the way to the courts. I want us to also understand that people are dying slow deaths in this country. And that's not at the hands of police. That is the hands of an economic system that does not see poor people as worthy of living a good life, at the hands of an education system that is not properly funded, at the hands of an ecosystem where environmental racism and injustice is real, at the hands of climate chaos. Black, you name it. All of the factors, the variables, social, economic, environmental, racial, political. People are dying every day because of lack of courage and intestinal fortitude in the political realm of life. And as we deal with policing and a legal injustice system, we need to deal with all the other variables and factors that make for a good life or the lack thereof. That's why I'm going to Congress. I'm running on an opportunity agenda, and I got the courage to ask for more. That's it.
The courage to ask for more. $15 minimum wage.
Yes.
Yes. I know your feelings on this. Does that look like something that I know you're going to advocate for it? What are your thoughts about where we are now and how we get to that point?
We could have had it, but, we're going to move forward, not backwards. Again, the parliamentarian got thrown under the bus and rolled over. No, we could have had it, and we still can have it. So I'm going to continue to join my colleagues in the Progressive Caucus, my colleagues in the Black Caucus, and any other member of that Congress that wants to continue to work towards and push for $15 an hour minimum wage, which, for 12 years, the federal minimum wage has been stuck at $7.25. But meanwhile, at boardrooms all across this country, the ultra wealthy has made money hand over fist. They are not missing a beat, but we cannot find, again, the intestinal fortitude to increase the minimum wage that should be much higher. $15 is the compromise position.
It is.
Tell the truth about it. And another way we can get to it is what we see happening across the country, where you have states and also municipalities taking it in their own hands and not waiting for the federal government. So I want to shout out leaders on the municipal and state levels of government who are pushing for that $15 an hour minimum wage and actually getting it done while we wait for the federal government to get a clue.
We already talked about student debt. We talked about the need to reduce that and the people that are most impacted by it, Black women namely. Any other thoughts about it? Did you want to expand on that at all? I know that some folks in my audience are of that age that are contemplating and making that decision. Like, do I pursue my dreams or do I just, try to do something else because it's just not in the cards? What are your thoughts on that, Nina?
Langston Hughes poem, What Happens to a Dream Deferred. I've talked to people just as you've laid out. There are some young people and young adjacent folks who are just putting off going to college because they're doing a calculation about whether or not they can afford it. That should not be the calculation. About improving individual lives, whether people decide to go to college or go to a tech or vocational school. They shouldn't sit around tables contemplating whether or not they can afford it or not. The way college education has been funded in this country is untenable, and we need to cancel student debt. And while we're canceling student debt, change the way colleges and universities are funded. I believe that public colleges and universities should be absolutely free in the same way K through 12 education is expected. And we put money in a community pot to ensure that our children have the ability to go to school from kindergarten to 12th grade. We need to expand that from pre-K all the way up to colleges and universities or tech and vocational training programs. And in all Black colleges and universities, whether they're public or private, we must as a nation strengthen those institutions because they exist for a very important reason. And that reason is they were born because of the injustices of not allowing Black people to be able to go to mainline colleges and universities in this country. And they play a very pivotal role in educating the African American community, especially lawyers and doctors, because a lot of our physicians absolutely come from historically Black colleges and universities. Again, Black poverty is a policy decision. It's a policy decision, and education is too. And the president, again, has the authority right now. Experts are out there saying it. He can sign an executive order and do away with college debt right now. And as he does, he should do that. I mean, I know he was talking about $10,000. We had Senator Schumer talking about 50,000. And then you have those of us on the progressive side just saying, go ahead and cancel it all. But while we do that, let's also have a new mechanism for how people go to college, because it's not enough. You cancel the debt and you keep the same old system. That just puts people back in debt. Let's make public colleges and universities free, and let's make the requisite investments in public and private Black colleges and universities.
I love it. I love it. I'm on board. There's some people, I think they forget that once upon a time we didn't have K through 12. We made progress, and we added. I saw a tweet you put out about if you like a 5-day work week, thank your union. Thank your union, because these things didn't always exist. It's like, but for years we've been stuck. It's like we're not moving forward and adding things that we have in other parts of the world that they've already adopted, such as free community college or local college and things of that nature. I don't know. Is it going to take? I think it's going to take more than the Turners getting into Congress, is what I think. But what's your thoughts on just the fact we don't seem like we're progressing further in some of these milestones?
Yeah, we definitely need, I don't know if the world can handle more Nina Turners, but I will say.
It's only one, right?
It's only one. I will say we do need to elect more conscious-minded people to the Congress and more people who have a real proximity to pain. I am old enough to remember not having enough food to eat. Old enough to remember my mama crying herself to sleep at night, old enough to remember my father hustling hard, trying to make ends meet, paying that child support when my mom was the custodial parent after they broke up. I'm old enough to remember, having to call my grandmother to help feed us at times. I'm old enough to remember all of that. So my proximity to pain is real. It's real. And I have occupied the space of the poor, the working poor, and the barely middle class. And but by the grace of God, there go I. And so that is why I am a hell-raising humanitarian when it comes to centering the lived experiences and the voices of folks who occupy that category and not the folks who have all the money and all of the connections. It is time that the body politics bend to the will of the least of these, the despised, the dispossessed, the marginalized, and the absolute fed up in this country, Black. That's why I'm running. And it's not my job to cheerlead people who got all the perks in this life. It is my job to stand up for the least of these, our sisters and brothers. And that's exactly what I have been doing. And I am going to continue to do that. And I look forward to finding some common ground with folks. I look forward to being able to work with the Biden-Harris administration. If they on the justice journey, I'm their dance partner, or anybody else for that matter. But I am also going to tell the truth when it comes to having the courage to ask for more and standing up for the needs of my district. I have one of the poorest cities in the 11th congressional district, and that is, the city of Cleveland. It's the poorest city of its size right now in this moment. There are places in Greater Akron, the same thing, poor. People can't make ends meet. So it's one thing to say to somebody, you moving in the right direction, let me pat you on the back. But it's another thing to say, if we moving in the right direction, let's keep going. Like, can you explain to me? I don't understand why folks want to elevate and be co-signers for the people who have the most power and the most access in this country, and then look at folks like me and other fighters sideways when we saying, okay, that's good, but let's just go ahead and go and do some more. I don't get it.
I think some of us, unfortunately, are more concerned with living well than actually doing well for others.
Ooh, that preaches.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
and unfortunately, I think it's just our capitalistic society, man, where it's all about getting more stuff. And as we get older, as I get older, I realize that that's not important, not nearly as important as the legacy I leave behind.
That's it. I'm right with you on that.
Go to NinaTurner.com. When is the election day? When should people be in line? How soon can they start voting?
Yeah, so election day in the primary is August the 3rd, but early vote starts on July the 7th. And so I do want people in the 11th Congressional District to vote early. Get that absentee ballot application, because in Ohio, you have to fill out an application first, send that in, and then wait for your ballot to come back and then send that in. I wish it was not as complicated and convoluted as that. It should just be simple. Send people the ballot, but until we get there. But yes, get your early vote ballot application and send that in. So July 7th, early vote, August 3rd, election day in the primary. And people can go to NinaTurner.com to join this movement so we can continue to do great things together.
That's it. That's amazing. Thank you, Nina Turner, for the time. We know you got a lot going on, and we appreciate having this moment with you.
Well, thank you, Mr. Tim Black.
You got it.
Most news shows are suspect. They don't focus on Black issues, and when they do, it's all fluff. How does that help your life? How does that help your family? How does that help the culture? They don't. The Tim Black Show is different. Tim Black gives you news for people who can't stand the news. Real, authentic, researched, entertaining, on point. Don't let nobody take your cornbread. Visit www.timblacktv.com today. Get Black breaking news, politics, culture from someone you can trust. TimBlackTV.com. Join us today.